What's up guys, Justin here with TheSketchUpEssentials.com, back with another SketchUp plugin tutorial for you. So today we're going to talk about how to use the extension Slicer to create a wall-mounted spherical bookshelf. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. So first thing we're going to need to do is we're going to need to draw kind of our spherical shape on the wall. And so to do that, we're going to start off by actually drawing a wall. So we're just going to draw a rectangle that's 10 foot by 10 foot. And so to do that, you can come in here, you can tap the R key to activate the rectangle tool, click once to set this face, tap the right mouse button or left mouse button to lock this to your green axis, and then type in the dimensions that you want, just like this. Then we're going to come in here and we're going to use Inferencing to draw a sphere in the center of our circle. So in order to do that, just tap the C key, move your mouse over this midpoint, and then just slowly move it down, and you can see how you get an inference line. If you hold the Shift key, it'll lock to that inference line, and then you can move your mouse over to the midpoint here and then click. And what that's going to do is that's going to set your circle in the center of this face right here. And then you can type in 4 foot for the radius of this circle. Then we're going to draw another circle on the red axis right here to use as a path to extrude this object. So to do that, we're going to right click on this circle, come in here and click Find Center. That'll put a point right in the middle of your circle right here. And then you can tap the right arrow key to lock this to the red axis. And then just draw a circle. It doesn't really matter how big it is because we're just using it as a path. So come in here, click on this circle that you just drew, then activate the Follow Me tool and click on your big original circle just like this. And you can see what that did is that extruded this in a circle, creating kind of a spherical shape. So what we can do is we can come in here and we can delete out the back side of this. We can delete this circle right here, and we can delete our center point. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to move this, we're actually going to create a copy of this face right here. So we're going to use the Move tool, click on this corner, tap the Control key, and then move this forward a little bit until you get it to the point where you kind of want to cut your bookshelf off. So you can move this as far forward or as far back as you want to. I'm going to move this forward probably to about here, just like this. So what we're going to do is once we've kind of moved this box forward in our sphere right here, you're just going to click inside your sphere. You're going to click Intersect Faces with Model. And what that's going to do is that's going to come in here and that's going to intersect your sphere with this adjusted plane right here. And you can come in here and you can erase this circle that was left over in here. And you can actually delete this first wall, and you can probably hide this other wall for right now if you want to. So now we're going to come in here with Slicer, and we're actually going to slice up our shelf. And so remember, Slicer is an extension that you can download in the Sketchucation warehouse, and I will leave a download to that in the notes below. I talked about it a little bit yesterday, but in order for that to work, the first thing you're going to have to do is you're going to have to make this a solid. So what that means is if I click on this right now, it's going to tell me the selected object is not a manifold solid. What that means is this isn't actually like a completely closed in shape. You can see how it's just kind of like hollow on the back side. So all you're going to do to fix that is you're just going to draw a line across this face to heal it. So now this is like a complete solid with no holes in it or anything like that. So now Slicer is going to be able to come in here and actually cut this up into slices. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to set our parameters. So in this case, we're going to do a double axis slice, meaning we want to cut this along the x-axis as well as the z-axis, just like this. So we want it to cut up and down, and we also want it to cut left or right, just like this. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to set our spacing. So, and I've set my spacing for 1 foot 6 inches for right now. We'll see how that kind of looks. And then I've set my thickness of my slices to 1 inch. And again, we'll kind of test that and see how that works. And then the other thing that I want is it's asking about centralization. And centralization is basically asking you how it wants to start the slice. So in this case, we want a gap in the middle. We don't want the slice, because we want this to start with a gap in the middle, and then it'll slice this symmetrically to the left and to the right and up and down based on a gap in the center, as opposed to having an actual piece in the center just like this. And then we're going to say no on add references and no on flatten, because we don't really need this to break this up into pieces. We're not going to do this in like a router or anything like that, so we don't really need that at the moment. So go ahead and set your parameters to this and click OK. And then it's going to ask you to do the same thing for your Z slices. And it's the same settings on this one. The only difference is you want to set slot to no, because for what we're doing here, we don't want this to draw the slots into your model, just because we don't really need it to do that. So then you're just going to come in here, you're going to click OK. And you can see what that did is that came in here and that broke this up into slices. So, and the only thing that I don't really like about this is I don't like the small slices here on the end. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to undo that. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to set our spacing to, we'll say 1 foot 3 inches for each one of these, and we'll see what that comes out to. And again, I'm just kind of trial and erroring this to get this to spit out what I want it to spit out. So there, I like that a lot better. So what that does is that has these pieces in here just like this, and so now you've got all the different slots that you want and that kind of thing. So now you can come in here and first of all you can hide this object that it creates for each one of these, and then come in here and erase the circle because you don't really need that anymore. So, and then we'll come back in here and we'll unhide everything. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to erase each one of these pieces, because you don't really need these little pieces that it creates in here. So we're just kind of cleaning up our model and stuff like that. And so now what we can do is there's a few different things that we could do now that we have this way, because it kind of brings these in and it colors them up a little funny, and we don't really want those colors. So we're going to come in here and we're going to adjust those, and I also want to smooth out these edges a little bit, because I really want these edges to show up without the little vertical lines in here. So we're going to come in here and we're going to mess around with the smooth tools in order to do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and explode all these pieces. So, and I'm going to have to do that twice. So just drag a mouse across these, select them all, and just select explode. So that's going to make everything into kind of the individual parts and pieces in here. And the next thing we're going to try is we're going to try to come in here and soften our edges. So basically what that means is if I set this to like 0 degrees, then all of these edges are hard edges, meaning they're visible. None of them are set to hidden or anything like that. And remember how SketchUp handles hidden edges is basically if you come in here and you select an edge like this line, for example, and you select soften, you can see what that does is that turns that into hidden geometry, just like this. And so all this option is doing with the soften edges section in your tray is that's just doing that on a larger scale. So you can see as I kind of drag my mouse across just like this, the more I drag it across, the more lines it turns into hidden geometry. But it's pretty simple on this one. If I just come in here and set it to 20 degrees, you can see how all of these little segment pieces get turned to hidden geometry, just like this. So now this is a lot smoother of a model, and it looks like a couple of them got missed, but actually it's probably easier at this point to just come in here and do those manually. So just select the lines that got missed by clicking on them and holding the shift key to select them all, just like this. Then you can just come in here and click soft, and you can see how now those edges are set to hidden as well. Then the next thing we're going to do is apply a material. So all you need to do, because we exploded this, is you just need to drag a mouse across these and select them all. And then you can come into your materials section, click the drop down, and then select wood. And then just come in here and select something like the wood veneer 1. And you can see what that does is that applies that material to all your different faces in here and stuff like that. And then you could come in here and you could play around a little bit with where this wall sits. If you still feel like this is too thick or too solid or something like that, you can kind of move this forward or back just to kind of adjust that, and you could intersect all the faces with your model and stuff like that. But that's a real quick, easy way to come in here and draw this spherical wooden bookshelf on the wall. So leave a comment below. Let me know what you thought. Are you liking this extension? Have you tried it out yet? I just love having that SketchUp conversation with you guys. I'd love to hear what you guys think about this. Now, if you like this video, please remember to click that like button down below. If you're new around here, remember to click that subscribe button for new SketchUp content every week. If you like what I'm doing on this channel, please consider supporting me on Patreon. Every little bit helps, even if it's only $1 a month. That just helps me keep bringing you great SketchUp content. But in any case, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.